Hey guys, this is Dave, and I'm about to give you the 8 tips you want to review before you buy your Tesla. Stick around because the last one will save you money. Okay, so as I sit in my Jeep Cherokee getting ready to get my new Model Y, I wanted to reflect on the things that I went through to make a decision on whether the Tesla was right for me. The first thing that I think you should do is make a list. Justify to yourself or to your spouse, like I had to, why Tesla was right for you. Specifically getting into which one meets your needs, but getting specifically what I mean is, why do you want this particular car? There's a lot of great cars out on the market. Honestly, I love this Jeep Cherokee. It's great in the winter. I'm in the suburbs of Chicago, and we could get hit with some bad weather. Typically not too bad, but I was looking for an all-wheel drive vehicle. I was looking for something that was better on gas because my wife has a Ford Flex. And take a look later, I'll do a walk around of that Ford Flex for everybody. But specifically, something that was better for the environment. And, really, I view Tesla as very revolutionary. They're changing everything about how you buy a car. And through the next steps and the next tips, I will kind of bring forward what that experience was like and where I went right and where I went wrong. So the first thing after you understand why you want this car, 2 is, figure out which one really meets your needs. Do you want to go with the Model S, super sporty and luxurious, obviously fastest Tesla available? Do you want to go with the Model X that's a little bit boxier, more room? Do you want to go with the Model 3, one of the best-selling models out there? Obviously smaller, more compact. Consider your parking and how many people are riding in the car. And what I ended up going with was the Model Y, specifically for its size, the range available on the car, and it's still very sporty and simplistic. But I did end up going with the Y for all those reasons. So after you've built your Tesla on Tesla's website, you're going to have a better understanding of what the car is going to cost. I don't like to look at the cost after my savings fuel like Tesla gives me, because that's not really realistic for me. That's not going to be all the expenses. Yeah, they're trying to provide me, some of those savings up front, but the reality is I need to know how much I'm going to finance. I need to know what I can afford. So for you, as a part of buying a car, and I've bought many cars over my years, more than I honestly can keep track of. It's a sin, I know, but it's something that I like to do. So the first thing that you really need to do if you have a trade-in, which I don't know if you know, side note, Teslas also do trades. So if you go to their website and you click on the little hamburger menu, you'll actually see trades now. When I was going through my ordering process, that was a big scramble for me because I was under the impression they did not do trades. So that's a nice new feature. So you need to value your trade. I didn't fully believe that Tesla would value my trade on the Jeep that I'm sitting in now like I would get at another dealership. So what I suggest that you do is go on Tesla's website, put in the VIN, and they will actually give you a trade number really quick. You can also do 2 other things, or go to CarMax and let them value your car and let them buy it. 2, you can actually go to Edmunds.com and do an online evaluation right there. And a little side note, when I did this, That's actually CarMax online value. So I could not find the way to do a CarMax trade or value on their website. But if I went to Edmunds.com and did it there, it actually hooked right up to CarMax's website, and I was able to get a price for my car. I ended up finding out that Tesla was only about $200 cheaper on the trade than CarMax. So for convenience factor, for me, even though it's $200, I still ended up deciding to pursue Tesla's trade. So fourth, go online and actually get your credit score. So the next part of this is understanding what you can get financed for. So the first part is, and I do this with everything, is I understand what my current credit score is. I actually have a Discover card and a Chase credit card that allow me to understand what my credit score is at any given time. But you always hold the power position if you hold all the information. So what I would suggest that you do is go to a website like creditkarma.com, which is typically free, to understand what your credit score is, because you can't leverage the banks or these dealerships if you don't know what your credit score is. You might start to believe like you should be qualified for this, but if you get your credit score, you'll fully understand why a dealership may not be giving you the best credit line if you're financing or not. So I'm well into the 800s. So I, without a doubt, feel very confident when I go to either Tesla itself or go to another bank. Typically, I financed my cars through Bank of America. But what I suggest that you guys do is go to Tesla's website, submit for credit if you're gonna finance the car. A few other sites that I like is obviously Bank of America. They have typically beaten every dealership that I've ever walked into. So I don't have to negotiate now on the interest rates or terms of a car. I'm really just dealing on the other thing. Navy Federal Credit Union is a really good site. Credit unions tend to be a little bit better on the financing, or go to the bank that you bank with. They see your activity with them all the time. So start there. Okay, so now we are in step 5. Step 5 is where I strongly suggest that you bring up additional tools. You've done some of your homework. You've started to figure out some of the major pieces in this math equation to figure out what you can afford. We haven't talked about down payments or anything like that, but the first thing that I suggest you do is go research yourself at least a template auto finance calculator. Actual Navy Federal Credit Union calculator is phenomenal. They've got some advanced settings in there that you can actually start to bring in some of these outside calculations. Because if you go to like even Tesla's website, they don't typically add in your state tax or titles and fees and things like that. So you still have to end up adding that into your math equation. So I strongly suggest you look at the Navy Federal Credit Union calculator. It's really good. I'll add a link in the description below so that you can resource that. Also, this ultimately becomes the point in your research where you start to understand what you can and can't afford. Meaning, what's the price of the car? Because you typically can figure out the financing percent and the term. So you've got the length and the interest percent. You'll be able to figure out how much of a down payment that you need to put down to afford this car. You roughly have an idea of how much you're gonna get for your trade. So really, you've got all of the major factors to figure out, again, what you can afford. Is that in your budget? One thing at the end is where you really want to start to roll in the savings in fuel. But remember that charging your car isn't free either. There's still an expense, significantly reduced expense specifically if you have solar and things like that on your house, which is a whole nother bag of worms. But this is where you really can understand and feel comfortable with what that monthly payment's going to be. Now, step 6, I'm going to roll into some additional considerations. Now, step 6 has many different steps in it, but some things that I think you should think about is, have you even test driven a Tesla? Have you been in one? Do you understand that they are different than a normal car? There's not as many buttons. It's very simple. Most people don't even understand how to get out of the car. So, should you be test driving Tesla? Also, consider how close a service center is to you, and does that mean that you have to drive 2 hours to get to a Tesla service center? Is that going to be an inconvenience to you enough for you to not want this? Because when you get service on the car, you're going to want to take it to Tesla. You can't take it to Bob's Auto Mechanic to fix this. Have you done your research on insurance? What does that mean? How much is it going to be compared to the current car that you're driving? Do you have the capacity to charge at home or in your parking spots? Are you renting an apartment? Do they have this even available to you there? Can you install somewhere to charge? What kind of charging at home do you need? Are you going to get a wall charger, or are you going to get a NEMA 1450 installed? And what does that mean? What's the expense of that? Wherever you park, do you have availability to Wi-Fi? Because your car is a big computer, people. You need to get the updates. That's a great thing about this car. The longer you own it, the more upgrades are given to you. And so you have to do that over a Wi-Fi connection. Can you get Wi-Fi to your car? Are you actually okay with the buying experience being completely different than what you're used to? And what I mean is, Tesla sells every unit they make. Not often are you going to go to a dealership and see, months worth of inventory sitting on a lot like you would a standard combustible engine dealership. So are you okay with the buying experience being different? Meaning you're going to go onto a website, sight unseen, order this car, and then wait potentially 4 to 10 weeks to get this car. There's going to be limited to no communication on what the process is, and you just have to wait. So are you okay with that? If not, this may not be a good fit for you, especially if you're trying to buy a brand new car through Tesla. The other thing that you really should consider is a used car, a used Tesla, good enough? Is that still accomplishing your first step? And that is, why do you want a Tesla? There's a lot of great inventory out on the market right now that you can gobble up, and there's some benefits of taking a used car. For example, some of the older models still give you free supercharging. That's going to significantly impact your ability to afford this vehicle. Are there any local, state, or federal tax credits that you can take advantage of? I will actually provide a link below to a place that you can go actually do that research to understand if you can actually get a write-off purchasing an electric vehicle. One of the biggest things that I did after I put in my order, which was, I don't know why I decided to do this after, but I actually joined a Facebook group specifically for the Model Y, and I have actually gained the most information from there. Everybody that's actually gone through this experience that isn't willing to make a video is willing to share their experience there, and I found that to be crucial to how I feel after I've put in my order. Also, you can join those without putting in an order too, so you can ask all your questions. I found a lot of great resources to reference later, specifically when I get my car and do my walkthrough, but that's something that you should definitely consider, and you'll know right away whether you want to join that community. All right, so step 7, it's what are the extra expenses that are going to come when you own a Tesla? Let's be honest, owning a Tesla isn't free. It seems like every time I touch something, whether it's on the website or directly with Tesla, it's this weird extra $100, whether it's $100 deposit and they charge you $100 to take your deposit, or, you know, it's $1,000 for the tow hitch, it's $1,000 for whatever. Owning a Tesla isn't mean no extra expenses. Yes, there's less maintenance on the vehicle, but there's still some prep work just to get the car. So for example, for me, I decided to not go with the Tesla wall charger. I didn't want to spend $500 on one unit. That really limits me in my parking in my garage. Feels like the world's largest garage. So I wanted to be able to decide to park on either side. So I know the car comes with a portable charger for the 110 volts. I'll make another video on and show you how I've decided to do my home charging. So keep an eye out for that video coming up. But I decided to actually buy an extra portable wall charger. So those are $275 on Tesla's website. I also ordered 2 extra 220 volts, the dongles that go into those ports. You can pull out the 110s and put those in. So one always will stay with the car. The other will stay permanently in whatever NEMA 1450 wall mount I'm parking on. If I decide that I want to change sides, I'll just move that over to my other port. But I did have to pay an electrician to come and do that. That's going to roughly be $800. My electrical panel is not very close. It's about 30 feet in my basement all the way up to the south end of my house, so plus the 2, so it's about $800. I thought it was very reasonable. I'll put a link in the description below on the electrician I used. It was actually a Tesla recommended. The other things that come along with this though is I live in a state that needs a license plate. I'm not going to use the one that comes with the car. Went out and I actually got the snap plate. Pretty sure that's what it's called. I'm sorry if it's wrong. I will actually put a description below. It was a little over $100, and I know that I'm probably going to get eaten alive, for one, not remembering what it was called, and two, I will do a video on when I get the car, putting it on there, but it's spending that much money on a license plate holder. But at the end of the day, the number one reason why I wanted this car still outweighs the accessory cost on this license plate. I need to make sure this license plate stays on the car. I can easily remove it if I want to, if I need to take it through a car wash or something. And I also am not interested in damaging the car. So like I said, every time I turn around, it's about $100 for the car. So that really didn't bother. Some other expenses that I'm gonna definitely incur with this purchase is floor mats. I'm not really interested in using the cloth floor mats that come with the car, so I will do some research on ones that I think will best meet my needs, and as I get that, I will do a video and share that with you and my experience. Again, there's a lot of good recommendations out on the forums, so I suggest that you go there and look at those. I'm also going to get the windows tinted pretty quick. As you can see, you know, even though I'm in Chicago, it does get hot. You're going to want to get a flash drive for recording all the cameras while you're driving. That's a nice feature of this car. Not to mention the Sentry mode, so when you're not in the car, if somebody gets near it, Sentry mode will kick in and I'll start recording in that closest camera, and you've got a backup storage of it. So, you know, that's going to be another $100. And then there's plenty of other accessories. I'm not interested in that center console with the known smudge fingerprints, so I will probably be doing some kind of vinyl on that as well. Again, weigh out all of your expenses is really the point of step 7. Okay, finally we are to step 8. I made this mistake. I feel like a total idiot. So I wanted to make sure that you saw this, but never ever buy a Tesla without a referral code. I will put my referral code in the link below. You do not have to use mine, but if you are going to buy a Tesla, Find a neighbor, find a friend, find your favorite YouTuber that's talking about and educating you on Teslas and the experience, and use that referral code. I know it's changed over the years and what that means to Tesla owners when their codes get used, but currently that means free supercharging for you and for me. So if you would be so kind to use mine, that's great, but it's not necessary. But do not buy a Tesla without a referral code. So my neighbor across the street from me actually owns a Tesla, and I actually placed my order, and then I realized, oh, dang it, I need to ask their referral code. Well, the process works like this. You get the referral code, you click on that link, and you actually place your order through the referral. Don't think that you can go back and put a referral code in somewhere down the line. It doesn't work. They also do not let you put in the referral code